Got up and I beat those eyes. It's understood. It was always me. Versus me, it was never me versus you. It's understood. Get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. It's understood. It was always me.
Mute must have got me. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to be back in this building once again. Let me get my stuff. Hold on. All right, guys, listen, man. We talk about everything but everything. We don't talk about, you know, some of the weird stuff that happens in this world that we live in. And today I want to hit on three things today. We're going to talk about free Diddy. And then we're going to talk about, was the moon landing real? And then we're going to talk about who built the pyramids really. All right, we're going to get into that, man. But I thank you guys for being here. Thank you for always supporting the channel. When you come in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I know some people are probably still asleep, hungover, from celebrating the white man's holiday. The white people's independence. The 4th of July yesterday. And so I just want to come in a little bit early today. Maybe you guys can watch this on the replay while you guys are oversleeping. Let's see. I'm reading here. Okay. All right. So guys, the first thing I want to talk about is this simple. I'm gonna play another video about the 4th of July in a second, but I want to talk about the Diddy trial. Now, listen, as we watched it for 8 weeks, I knew for a fact that the prosecution did not have enough information or enough evidence to convict him. All they had was 2 ex-girlfriends and a male prostitute by the name of Punisher, who turned on them at the last minute and refused not to lie. Yeah, it was a lie. And the Punisher got up and told the truth. And he said, it wasn't me, it was Cassie who deliberately hired me, had sex with me, allowed me to piss in her mouth, so on and so on. Okay. If you're here right now and you're watching, please put your name in the chat and we'll definitely shout you out if you are here. All right. Okay. Now, let's get to the video I want to share with you guys because I think it speaks volumes when they're talking raw about it. They're talking raw about it. So I want to, fair use, before we get this thing up here, let me share the screen with you guys. And then we'll discuss it as we go. And guys, if you're coming in late again, put your thoughts in the chat. Here we go. All right, let's pay attention to this right here. Shout out to Craig Smith for this lovely work he did. And let's do it.
Cassie ain't the y'all think she is. I always say this, man. Domestic violence is not always abuse because some just like to fight. Cassie is the same woman that would go to Puff Daddy's house while Kim Porter was alive and watch Puffy beat on Kim, cuss Kim out, abuse Kim, and laugh at Kim. Kim's friends have came out and it's documented that they say Cassie used to be torturing Kim with Puff. She is not this victim broad that everybody is making her out to be. This is a treacherous. Anytime a woman that is that beautiful is dating a that is that regular looking, she's hustling her. This is a woman that hustles vagina, and we treating her like she a Claire Huxtable or a respectable everyday woman. This is a libido. She's libido hungry, and she's money hungry, and she's eating, sucking, and on anybody that got the paper.
I think there's an excerpt in the book of one of Kim Porter's friends that said that she used to be with Diddy, antagonizing Kim Porter when Diddy used to kick Kim in her ass. The chopper that was in the Making the Band group or the rap group, he even said she was toxic. Diddy is an innocent man. It's the line on, and she got to come and get some money.
Yeah.
You can't, man, she wasn't surviving. She was having fun. She cheated.
So do you think Cassie enjoyed doing freak off, or she just was just doing it to survive?
That $30 million settlement she got, a portion of that should go to Kim's kids. Because you tortured Kim with a married man to get to that paper. She used to be at Puff House while Kim was there on some super disrespectful stuff. Sometimes when you see a woman get swooped, that's because she just robbed or she set it to get murdered, or all women ain't victims. So I'm not about to run around here on this tape and act like all you is good.
Some of you all bitches.
Cassie says, I'm getting $10 million from the hotel where Diddy beat me.
Go what? How please?
My extortionist lawyers also sued the hotel, and they gonna get 10 milli. At this point, y'all, she just flexing. Cassie threatened a man in 2014 over fears of leaked freak-off video.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you.
Yeah, but
no, I will kill you if you don't show me right now. I will kill you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to kill you and then he's going to kill you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that pull that up.
So does this sound like a victim? I'm gonna let y'all have it. Does it sound like a victim to you? Put it in the chat right now. Does it sound like a victim to you? All right. If you're just coming in, hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the share button, all of that. It's free. If you want to donate to the channel and you love what you're seeing, go ahead and hit the super chat at the bottom. And then also, if you want to do the Cash App, if that's easier for you, you will definitely see the Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen in just a second. There it is. But again, does that sound like a victim to you? Let me get my boy Trey up here, and we're going to have this discussion. Trey, have you been watching so far, my brother?
Yes, sir. What's good with you?
Man, what's good with you, man? Listen, there's truth in conspiracies, my brother. And I think that Cassie is not a victim in this case. What do you think as a officer, as a person who has served this country, and as a person who has been a police officer? If you were in this case and you had to say guilty or not guilty to Cassie, should she be criminalized, or is Cassie a true victim who they say, because the women online are saying he was in her mind, he controlled her mentally, and she can control her mind? What are your thoughts, Trey?
Yeah, Cassie is no victim. She's a volunteer. And as far as I'm concerned, there should have been two people indicted in this case. Should have been Diddy, and it should have been Cassie as well. I think she is as guilty as he is. First, let me say congratulations to the jury, because I think they got it right. I think they did an excellent job. I think they asked the right questions. I think that they needed to disregard testimony that was BS and that it was clear manipulation. I think the jury did a great job. I never thought that Diddy was going to get off with nothing, per se. I knew he was going to get something, because that's just the way it goes. But the most serious crimes, as I said, it's my belief he's walking out the front door. That is my belief. In October, when he gets sentenced, he's going to walk out the front door. And I've always been that way. But Cassie is no victim here. And here's the best part about this. Some of these guys that participated in these freak-offs are now starting to sue her. Do you know that? They're starting to sue her now. One guy is claiming that he received an STD from her as a part of the freak-off, and he's actually suing her now. So remember, she got somewhere between $20 and $30 million from Diddy out of this. And now these guys, the chickens are going to start to come home to roost for her too, because I think what this case did is it exposed a lot of things. This is great red pill content, by the way. This entire case is great red pill content. But one of the things it did expose is it exposed that we haven't oftentimes believed that beautiful women, and Cassie's a beautiful woman, We oftentimes believe that beautiful women are automatically wholesome and sweet and kind, and that they don't have this sort of switch where they can turn into this freak, this mean, angry person. I think this case proved that Cassie was just as much involved in these freak offs as Diddy was, and in some cases, it was her the one that was requesting. She was the one that was requesting. And I've said this before. We have a belief that women can't be these sexual demons, that they can't do this stuff. They absolutely can. And this case is a great example of it. To me, and I will take this to my grave, she is no victim. She is a volunteer. She was right there. She was the Bonnie to his Clyde. And if he got indicted, she should have been indicted too. As a matter of fact, from some of the reports, she was flying some of the guys out. It was her request to have some of the guys out. Well, that sounds like a crime to me too. If he can get charged for it, for transportation to illicit prostitution, so can she. And I think this is just one of the things that we talk about often, that the criminal justice system just has not caught up, and it does not see females the way that it sees males. It always will see males as a suspect or a danger or a threat to the community, but it has not caught up to see that the women can be the same exact things. It hasn't happened yet. So at some point in time, it will come out. This is a great case to expose that women are a part of these freak offs. In most cases, they requested it for a long time. I'm gonna use Bobby and Whitney. For a long time, we thought Bobby was giving Whitney the drugs. It wasn't Bobby. Whitney was already on drugs before she met Bobby. See, we have this thought process that the women can't. Oh no, it had to be him. He did that to her. No, it could have been. This entire thing could have been her entire idea from the beginning. She may be the one that likes the baby oil the most. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we have to get out of this idea that just because she's a woman and she's pretty, that she can't be a part of this.
And the fact, Trey, that as beautiful as she is, let me pull this back up. Because I paused it right on her picture. That's a beautiful woman.
That's a beautiful woman, absolutely.
And for her to lie down, for me to know that she's lying down on her back on the floor and allowing the Punisher to stand over her and piss in her mouth and get mad at the Punisher for pissing too fast, telling him to slow the flow down so she could swallow it without choking. I mean, look at that woman. You would never think that this woman would be a piss drinker. And so my question to you is, to all the women out there, and this had a question for you, Trey. You know that's your woman. She loves you so much. Anissa says, do you think Diddy exposed her to freak offs or vice versa?
If I had to put my money on it, if I had my last dollar, I would probably say Diddy probably exposed her. Sure. However, I don't believe that just because he exposed her doesn't mean that she wasn't old enough to be able to make a decision of whether or not what she wanted to do going forward. So we have this thing. I just read an article that wants to talk about like how women the brain hasn't developed, and like to the age of 40 now. They're trying to push it to 40. It was already bad enough at 25. Like, oh, your brain stem hasn't fully developed. Now we're trying to we're skipping the 30s. They're trying to get it all the way to the 40s. I think we have this idea in America that we want to prolong adolescence. We want to keep people as young as possible and to keep giving them excuses. No, she was 19. She was already taking nudes. I remember the nude photo because I was like, oh, Cassie got a nude out. I got to go see this. So she was 19 and she was already doing these things. Here's something, and I'm going to tell you this from a law enforcement perspective. Here's something we oftentimes don't want to talk about. How young these girls started. I never want to have this conversation. But some of these girls are starting down this path of sexual degeneracy as early as 13, 12. And so by the time they get 19, this is nothing to them. They have already done so many things before this. So a nude picture here, a freak off there, a train here, an orgy there. Well, I was doing that in middle school. There was a video of a girl who said that the first time she gave oral was in 7th grade. 7th grade. I did the math. That's 12. That's 12 years old. And so, yeah, he may have exposed her to the particular type. It's almost like he exposed her to cocaine, but she was already smoking weed. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just the next thing. Like, all right, yeah, she was already doing drugs. Listen, to me, this was an opportunity for her. She saw an opportunity. She was like, this man is powerful, he's rich, he's connected, and he wants me. Like he wants me. I'm going for it. Because she was with Ryan Leslie. She didn't want Ryan Leslie. Why? Ryan Leslie doesn't have the same connections as Diddy has. Doesn't have the same pull, doesn't have the same money. Right? But Ryan Leslie was a safer choice. She didn't want that. So go ahead.
No, one of the things Anissa was saying, she said, I wish, Anissa wishes the worst on all black men, but I wish Kim Porter, Cassie, and other women had the strength to press charges on him for domestic violence for the first time. Now, Anissa, I want to say this to you because I'm going to play this. It is documented that Diddy and Cassie, not only domestic, I'm not going against the fact that he committed domestic violence. I mean, you see it. My thing is, Kim was a part of it when he was with Kim. I mean, Cassie was a part of it when he was with Kim. Her friend, Kim Porter's best friend wrote a book saying that Cassie and Diddy would whoop the shit out of Kim together. They would beat the shit out of her together. Cassie is not a victim. I don't know why we keep talking about she a victim. This bitch is not a victim. She's a part of it. She's an accessory to the crime. And I'm going to play this part of the video because I think Anissa needs to hear this. Let me play this part.
Beto hungry, and she's money hungry, and she's eating, sucking, and on anybody that got the paper.
I think there's an excerpt in the book of one of Kim Porter's friends that said that she used to be with Diddy, antagonizing Kim Porter when Diddy used to kick Kim in her ass. The chopper that was in the Making the Band group or the rap group, he even said she was toxic. Diddy is an innocent man. It's the line on, and she got to come and get some money.
Yeah.
You can't, man, she wasn't surviving. She was having fun. She cheated.
So do you think Cassie enjoyed doing freak off, or she just was just doing it to survive?
That $30 million settlement she got, a portion of that should go to Kim's kids. Because you tortured Kim with a married man to get to that paper. She used to be at Puff House while Kim was there on some super disrespectful stuff. Sometimes when you see a woman get swooped, that's because she just robbed or she set it to get murdered, or all women ain't victims. So I'm not about to run around here on this tape and act like all you is good. Some of you ain't shit.
Cassie says, I'm getting $10 million from the hotel where Diddy beat me.
Go what? How?
Trey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to point something out. Do you know the thing that Cassie and the woman that was with, you know what they have in common?
What's that?
Who I believe is Jane Doe in this entire situation. I think her name is Daphne Joy. You know what they have in common? They're Filipino. It's a Filipino link to this. See, people don't want to have these conversations about, no disrespect to my passport brothers, but y'all be thinking that shit is sweet. These women are diabolical. And you have to understand something. If you were telling, listen, they're not blind. Cassie gets up every morning, she looks herself in the mirror, and she goes, damn, I'm one of probably the baddest chicks in the world right now. I should be getting paid for this. I should be getting paid for how I look, right? I look good. And I agree. If you walk down a red carpet with that woman on your arm, people are going to start asking questions. Who is this? Right? Because she's just that attractive, right? But we have to stop acting like, and my man said it, I forgot his name. I forgot his name on the Corey Holcomb show, but he said it. These women are not victims. We have to stop with this. And in this instance, I wish she had the strength to report the domestic violence. Let me tell you something about this domestic violence, because it's always one-sided. I guarantee it wasn't one-sided. If we actually sat down and did an actual investigation properly, we'll probably come to this understanding that Kim is just as violent as he is. Because oftentimes, if you actually do the statistics, when it's heterosexual, they typically beat each other. That's one of the things I had to learn about being a police officer. When I used to get to these scenes, you used to think, oh, the man, because she would get the worst of it. She get the worst of the beating. But you would think, oh, the man is and then once you start to break down the story, you're like, hold up. This woman been hitting on this man, slapping this man, spitting at him, throwing stuff at him. She is just as guilty as he is. They both are. Live in this world where, oh, well, it's always, no, I guarantee you, if we did some investigating, Kim Porter was probably in there throwing hands too. Throwing hands too. I guarantee you. This is what we do. And here's the thing. Women like Anissa are the problem because she's never going to see that the females can ever be wrong. She's never going to see that. It's never going to happen. She's the same one that told me, she told it, didn't she say on the other show that he was going to be guilty of the racketeering? And didn't I say they didn't prove a racketeering case? She's the same one that said it. When we were, who showed
and when I said that, I said, Anissa, when he's not guilty for that, I want you to come up here now. I said it. I said, Anissa, when he's not guilty for that, he's not going to jail for the rest of his life. He's not going to get racketeering charges. And Anissa, Anissa, the link in the chat, you want to come up here. But I'm telling you right now, I told her that. She didn't believe me. And in October, when he walk up out of there, off of 2 prostitute cases, they're going to give him time served. He's going to be up out of there. And Anissa really not going to show up. Because I told her this. I told her, Dre, I told her.
Well, Black man, this is a case in which the jury looked at this and said they agreed with everybody else. Cassie's not a victim. The jury's looking at the same. We believe she was a part of this. That's what they're finding to me when they return that verdict. That's what I got from it. Okay, y'all don't believe her either. You didn't believe. They all unanimously. The alternate juror said they unanimously didn't believe Dawn Richardson. None of them believed her when she got up there. None of them believed it. So the question is why is it that a group of 8 men and 4 women who are on this jury don't believe her, but everybody else wants to believe her? These people were sitting right there.
How many women?
4.
So we can't say that the jury didn't have any representation of women.
No, there were 4 women on the jury.
Exactly. So Anissa, it was 4 women on the jury who could have held Diddy accountable and could have been responsible for sending him to jail for the rest of his life. But because of the testimonies given by lying women, those women realized those women were lying. And now Diddy didn't get charged with the RICO case, which would have sent him to jail for the rest of his life. So there was representation, Anissa. There was 4 women on the jury. They were 4 women, and they didn't want to sit there and lie. And Anissa, I want to put this out there, Trey, and I want you to speak on this too. They have documented the video in that hotel when Diddy whooped her ass. The next day, he asked him for a freak off. The very next day. Does that sound like a victim to you? They have proof. See, and this are not following the case. They have proof the day of the beating at the hotel, the very next day, she asked Diddy for a freak off. And she wanted Diddy to watch her get fucked, and she wanted Diddy to fuck her with another man the very next day. But go ahead, Trey.
Look, she's saying that there's never a reason for a man to beat on a woman. I'm going to tell you right now, if a woman puts her hands on me, I'm going to drop her. In the point in my life anymore where I'm gonna play that game of I'm a man and I'm supposed to take the beating and I'm bigger and I'm stronger and I don't play that. I have to think about this. Think about how psychotic and crazy somebody is to want to hit someone who is taller, stronger, faster, quicker. Like I wouldn't want to fight that man. But this is the lack of logic that they have. Is that you want to. I've seen women want to fight dudes. I'm like, this dude's 6'4", 320. Why are you picking a fight with him? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't even pick a fight with him. But that's where we're at. No, and this is one of the things the younger generation ain't playing with this. Like, they don't tolerate this from women, like at all. Like Gen Zers don't tolerate this. You put your hands on me, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out. That's how they. Yeah. That's how they move. Mm-hmm. That's how they move. These young boys don't play that. Keep your hands to yourself. We had a long generation of men just being literally, verbally, emotionally, physically assaulted and just having to deal with it. And there's no doubt in my mind that as much as Diddy probably gave out, he probably had to take some of it too. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I don't believe that he was just out there just whooping on these women and like they just decided to stay. And here's the other thing: the video of her leaving the hotel with the bag I worked a bunch of DV cases, bro. I mean, thousands of them. I have never seen a true victim pack a bag. Never, not once. When they want to leave, they just leave with the clothes on their back. I know because we used to have to take them there was a spot we used to have to take them so they could go get fresh clothes and like soaps and all that stuff because they didn't have anything. A true victim, when they trying to get away, they just leave, bro. They just, as soon as they get that out, they're just like, I'm gone. I'm out of here. And I'm just trying to get to safety. This girl had a chance. She packed a bag. She walking out the hotel with bags, stuff. Girl, you ain't trying to get away. This is this typical, and some relationships are like this. I'm going to act like I'm leaving. He's going to say he's sorry. He'll buy me a Cartier necklace. We'll have great sex. And then, and then it just kind of goes on from there. They kind of play this. It's like a cyclic sort of thing. It just kind of, it's in a cycle. They just kind of keep doing this, keep doing this. Until one day she's like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. And then she moves on. But in this particular case with Cassie wasn't the one that moved on. Diddy was the one that moved on. He decided he didn't want to be with her anymore. Why? Because you're going to be replaced. And she never thought about that. She didn't think long term that you were going to get older, sweetheart, and you were going to get replaced, obviously. And so now it's like, well, he's paying her bills. He's taking care of her. Now all of a sudden he's a predator and he's this and he's that. But when she was with him, we never heard none of this stuff.
And even though you're saying that, Trey, Anissa still got these words to say. I want you to address some of these comments Anissa just made. She says, there is never a reason for a man to beat on a woman the way that Diddy was beating on Cassie and Kim Porter. There is no excuses. Excuses, don't hand me that bullshit. Okay, so we'll address that one first. We'll go to the next one. Listen, I'll say this then, Trey, you could cook. If a woman puts her, and this is my thing, if a woman puts herself in a male position and she strikes me, I have every right to defend myself in any way I see fit. And I think that, like you said earlier, Trey, they got this notion in their mind that women cannot harm a man. They can't hurt a man. A man is big and strong. If she hit him in the head with a bat, he should be able to recover, but he should never swing back. He should never grab her, shake her head off her body. None of that. Even if she shoots at him, he's a man. So what are your thoughts on what Anissa's saying, Trey?
I mean, that's just what I just addressed. Like it's the commonplace of, we're Superman. We're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and like nothing is supposed to hurt us. But that stuff does hurt. I've been scratched. I've been poked. I've been kicked. I've been like, it hurts. I don't know why they act like we don't get hurt. Like we get hurt too. And I don't know why that I've gone to cases where I've shown up and guys have got claw marks down their neck or claw marks on their face, you know what I mean? Or his shirt's torn and tattered and all this stuff. And I'm like, and we act like it doesn't hurt. Yeah, that hurts him. Right. And the science proves that women have a more of a tolerance for pain than men do. So technically, according to science, it hurts us more because we don't have the same pain tolerance.
Yep. And she said, I never thought he would get Rico. Come on.
Lies. That is not what you said the other night.
Stop. She's a liar. She said, but I did think that he would get sex trafficking of Cassie, but he didn't.
He didn't traffic her.
He didn't. He's not guilty. It says here, I'm looking at it right here. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or correction, not guilty. Sex trafficking by force or fraud or correction, not guilty. Count 2 and 4. He's not guilty for sex trafficking Cassie.
See, that's not what happened. She wanted to be there.
Yep.
So there's no force. Like, you know what the issue is? I'm serious, black man. I know you have sons. I have sons.
Yep.
We really have to have a conversation with our young boys and telling them women like sex too.
They do.
We don't want to have that conversation. We do not want to really break this down to our young boys and tell them, like, you don't understand. Like when I remember growing up, it was the girls that was doing all the horny shit. It was the girls. It wasn't the boys. Don't get me wrong. The boys was doing some horny shit too, right? Yeah. But when I go back and I think about the dances, the middle school dances, high school dances, and all that stuff, like I'm like, man, it was the girls that was popping off. It was the girls that was twerking. It was the girls that was wearing these short dresses and see-through titty. And that's in high school. That was in high school.
The first,
and I went to high school in the 90s.
The first pussy I saw was probably first grade, second grade. Well, a little white girl. Her name was Cassie. Damn. Irony. white girl, the iron. But her name was Cassie, and she asked me. She said, "You want to see my private part?" I said, I said yes. She said, she pulled her little shorts down and showed me her pussy. That's the first pussy I ever seen. White girl. I was probably in second grade.
I remember the first boob I saw. And I'm gonna tell you how it went. It was at the pool. I used to go to a summer camp. He was at the pool, and the girl, she was 16, and she was wearing like one of them like little really skimpy like bathing suits. And she jumped in the water, and when she jumped in the water, you know how all their stuff get rearranged when they get underneath that water. And she came up out of the water, and she had basically the top was just like all over the place. Now you think that most girls would go, "Oh my God," like one of them. And she see me looking, right? Because I'm a boy. I'm like, oh shit, tits. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, right? And you think she tried to cover up? No, she took it and she like squeezed herself. She shot right at me, like squeezed herself, and then like covered up. And I'm like, that's like we don't think that's not a thing, but it is. And any man who has dealt with women who are highly attractive, one of the things you have to get out of is this thought of that she's wholesome. Like, no, they be nasty, bro. They be nasty, freaky. They want to do some of the craziest things, but you don't see it because you think, oh, she's cute. She would never do those things. It's like, yes, she would, bro. Yes, she would. Let me address this because Anissa just wants a small victory. That's all this is about. This is about having small victories for her.
What? Listen. Look, here it is. Look. She said, I think how crazy and neurotic it is for a grown-ass man to think that he has to kick and punch and break a woman's nose. You are a man. Go find another man, you bitch. Yeah.
No, I mean, this is it. Like this is a prime example. Again, I can say the same thing for women, but that's just not the way it is. It's just this is why I tell men you have to understand something. This is why you have to ask these questions. You have to put these scenarios in front of them and listen to what they say. Because you'll learn a lot. This Cassie and Diddy case, it tells you a lot about people and what they think. They legitimately think this woman is a victim. She's not. She's not. This is not victimhood. And it does a disservice to all of the women who are actual victims. This is not one of them. But I want to talk about this one that says, because she wants a small victory. But if a man will beat you because you aren't doing what he wants you to do, come on, call it what it is. Be a man and call it what it is. Why do we need to give you that victory? That's obvious. See, this is an issue, right? Shout out to KS, the need to be right. You just want a small victory. Why does anybody need to address that if a man is beating on a woman for no reason, why do we need to call that what it is? Everybody knows what that is. But you just want to win. You just want to win one. Just give me one. Give me something. I don't need to address that. I don't believe that that's the case when it came to Diddy. I believe these people are beating each other. I believe that these are violent situations because I've been in them and I've seen them on my firsthand. Where we sit here and we think, oh, she's innocent. She didn't do anything wrong. And then when you break it down, you're like, oh, what up? She threw a plate at him. She smushed him. She smacked him. She just as violent as he is. She just can't do the same kind of damage. She can't inflict the same kind of damage on him that he can to her. If I punch you, or if I punch a woman versus a woman punching me, it's gonna be two different, totally different outcomes. Doesn't change the fact that she punched me. Yeah, okay. Now, she said that man was going to prison. Yeah. Plain and simple.
Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. He's going his fucking ass to jail for the rest of his life. She said that.
Rest of his life.
She's been losing a lot lately, and I love Anissa, but she's been losing a lot lately. She lost when she said Kamala Harris raised $1 billion in 1 month, and she was going to become president. The world showed her different. This country showed her different. Secondly, Diddy going to jail for the rest of his life. The country showed the jury showed her different. And then she put here about 8. She said there were 8 men. What are you talking about? That ain't got nothing to do with the women. The women felt like they were some liars. They felt like they did not believe the testimony because after you get your ass beat by a man, you're not going to text him to the next day and say, baby, can we order some more dick and me and you fuck them? Can we have another freak off? I think Anissa didn't read the text messages. She didn't read the text messages, but when they showed Cassie, and this is what turned the case over, because they thought Cassie's testimony would kill him. It did not. It only proved that she was as freaky as he was, and she's a fucking liar, And she liked to get, if a bitch lets you piss in her mouth, she damn don't care if you kick her down the hallway. If she lets you piss,
Black man, let's call it what it is. It's foreplay.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Here you go. I noticed that none of you want to call Diddy punk who want a man cum rubbed all over him. Listen,
why do we need to keep revisiting that?
That's not part of the case. She sounds just like the people in the court. She said she sounds just like the prosecutor. The prosecutor bringing up the beating in the hallway, which had nothing to do with Rico, had nothing to do with the other sex trafficking. It only tried to paint him in a bad picture.
He wasn't on trial for DV.
Yeah, DV, my bad. And the jury did not see it. They said, we're not here for DV. We're not here for that. We're here because you said this man was running an enterprise of ST. You said this man was trafficking women. And whatever the prosecution laid down on the table does not have any proof that this man was doing either.
Right. And again, and my whole thing is, and I'm still trying to figure this out, how you got a RICO charge with one person? If he's running an organization, but you only got one person charged, I've never understood that. Somebody got to break that down to me.
Hold on, Trey, let me add a little bit more to it than you can cook. Also, if he is running an enterprise, the only people you can find is 2 ex-girlfriends and a male prostitute.
It never made any sense.
It was bullshit from the beginning.
You know what this was?
Now she running to the white folks. She said, white girls been doing this since junior high school, but y'all love them.
All right, cool. I mean, I don't know.
White girls are winning. And let me say white girls are winning, Trey, because I was just watching the NBA Finals, which was the most trash NBA Finals ever. But I was watching NBA Finals. After it was over, they were celebrating with their families. All the men were up on stage at the parade, talking at the parade with the mayor. Every black dude on that team is married to a white woman. Did you see the picture?
No, but I know most of the players, and I've seen it with their wives.
Yeah. All their wives are white. They want no white girls winning.
And that's why the black women get mad. They pissed about it. I watched the Revolt. I think it's a show on Revolt, and they were talking about like all the white women are stealing all the rich black men. That's like, well, no, they're not stealing them. They're available. That's the part you keep missing. They're available. Because the truth of the matter is that they shouldn't even be available at all, because they should have come across so many black women. But y'all don't want it. They didn't listen. They didn't want SGA when SGA was a weird looking blur in Canada with a weird haircut and a weird looking funny face. They didn't want him there. They wanted him when his hair grew out, he got some tattoos, and he started making $50 million a year playing basketball. But see, the white girls, and I've said this before, and Dr. Umar even alluded to this, the white girls will get with you long before you become who you are. They will invest that time. And the white girls, no, they want to wait till finish. Like, okay, well then wait. And hopefully maybe you might get picked. But the problem is that y'all sitting there waiting and ain't nobody picking y'all. So, oh well, it's tough titty, as my grandmother said. Oh well.
Now Anissa jump back to this. She says, I have no respect for men that hit women, none. So Anissa, I have a question for you, since you're not gonna come up here. All right, guys, if you want to join the panel, the link at the top of the chat. But Anissa says that, but at the same time, Anissa, is it okay for a man to defend himself for a woman who is putting her hands on him? I want to know that. Do you still have disrespect for a man? Because I don't see. She said, "Why do you avoid it?" So is the question? Why do you avoid it? So is this I don't know what that means. But Anissa, again, answer my. If you give me a direct question, I'll answer. But I'm asking you a question. At any time, is it okay for a man to defend himself? So if I go in my house right now, my wife comes at me with a butcher knife and she tries to stab me, and I two-piece her ass and knock her into next week, you have no respect for me? Because I know you've seen this, Trey, in your line of work. A woman aggressively trying to hurt a man physically, and he has to stop her. He has to. And so basically, I'm just going to sit there and be like, why she stabbing me? I'm not gonna allow myself to defend myself. Huh? Just stab me. Fuck that. No, hell no. No. No.
You remember that? You're Superman. So so it's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Look,
I tell if you want to come up, the link is at the top of the chat. But yeah.
Yeah, look, I tell all men, every man has a right to self-defense. Every man. It does not matter. It does not matter who the attacker is. It could be Bigfoot, Sasquatch, your mama. It doesn't matter who it is. You have a right to defend yourself.
She said, "You're such a fucking liar, both of y'all. Y'all hate to be wrong." Anissa, what are we wrong about? At least I'm asking you, Anissa, you can come up and defend yourself. All right. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to have your camera on. Everybody else got to have their camera on. But you can come up. I just want to hear your voice. All I'm saying, Anissa, is that it was a question. If I go in the house and my wife charges at me with a weapon, is it okay for me to drop kick her into the dishwasher? Is it okay for me to shoot her if I have my gun in my pocket? If she's charging at me with a weapon of minor or major destruction? That's my question.
I mean, we live in a weird time. We live in a weird time. You have a certain group of women who just think that, men are here to be your doormat. You're supposed to just do whatever I want you to do, and a lot of men are like, nah, you're standing up to that. Like, nah, even if that means I don't ever be with a woman again in my life. Sure, I'll take the peace over having to deal with you.
Now we got a woman in the chat. Lady Navoa. Shout out to you, Lady Navoa. Lady Navoa says, "Should no one hit no one? She stabbed you? Hell yes. Call this a hold her or push her type of situation. If you don't, you might not be here no more while she breathing." I'm a woman saying this. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And even to that point, why is it that the rules are you get to punch, hit, slap me, but I'm supposed to restrain you? Like why is that the answer? You get to physically assault me, but I'm just supposed to hold you.
Yep.
Like, no, if you throwing hands, we throwing hands.
And I'm gonna say this, and I know this trait, it ain't gonna be sexy, but I'm gonna say this. I don't think any of these women are victims. I don't even think R. Kelly's wife was a victim. Remember, she said R. Kelly hog-tied her and put her in the closet for 3 days. I don't believe it. My thing is this, because if you're a victim and you're broken and you're hurt inside, and a man has DV'd you to the point where you just traumatically you out of there, there's no way possible that you get in the car with your now man and listen to Step in the Name of Love. And she said, "Oh, just because I listen to my baby daddy don't mean nothing. I still love his music." What? If you're traumatized by him, like you said on the interview, and you're crying and breaking down and falling all out on the couch on these interviews, there's no way you're going to listen to your abuser's music, dancing to it with your new man sitting beside you. None of these women are victims, bro.
So hear me out on this, right? Because I think a lot of the mentality is that women are not capable of making decisions, and they can be easily manipulated and conned. And so if that is to be true, then we got to take some of your benefits away. If women can be so manipulated and so conned and so coerced so easily, you can be controlled by a master manipulator, well, then we got to take you out of politics then. We got to start taking things away from you, because we can't trust that you're actually making the right decisions, because you could be coerced and conned. See, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that women are strong and smart, educated and knowledgeable, that they are able to do these things, right? And I agree with that they are, right? And then flip on the other hand and say, well, but they're also weak and they can be manipulated. And it's like, well, hang on a second. You can't have it both ways. And that's oftentimes what we see is that they want to win on both sides. And you can't do that. You can't win on both sides. If you are strong, you are smart, you are capable of making decisions, you are capable of being independent, that means that whatever consequences come with the decisions you make, you got to take that shit on the chin, just like everybody else would. But you can't run back and say, oh, well, he coerced me and I didn't really, I was manipulated. I didn't know what I was doing. Sure, you knew what you did. You knew who he was. You knew exactly who he was, even with the R. Kelly situation. So y'all didn't know who he was? Y'all didn't know what was going on? The parents certainly knew. Michael Jackson. I can go down the list. Oh, you didn't know who Michael Jackson was. You went to Neverland Ranch and had never had no clue who this man was. You know what time it was. So you can't win on both ends. It's either you are strong, you are intelligent, you are educated. Black women love to tell you we're the most educated women in the world. Okay, great. Then that means that when you make dumb decisions, you have to take the consequences that come along with it. And if you choose not to, then we need to start pulling back some of your abilities to do things. And that may be, maybe we need to take your right to vote away. Maybe we need to take your abilities to use alcohol. Maybe you don't need to drive anymore, because obviously you can be controlled. Which one is it?
It doesn't matter how many. She says here. Let me go back and read it because I was on mute. She says here they had at least a list of male prostitutes that were shown in the courtroom, at least 20. That doesn't matter how many was in the courtroom who testified. The prosecution thought they had the Punisher to get up there and say something bad about it. He didn't. He said the times that I was there, I was employed by Miss Cassie Ventura. She called me. She paid me. It was her credit card. It was her money. She's orchestrated it. When I came in, I spoke to her only. See, this is, I'm saying we can say everything we want to say about Diddy. Cassie is not a victim. That pretty, sexy, pretty bitch is not a victim. She looked the part, but she's not a victim. That Filipina pretty, I mean, she's fucking gorgeous, but she's a freak.
Nasty girl.
And then she talking about, well, Diddy kissed that same mouth when it's the same mouth that nigga pissed in. Okay, now you're going down a whole road here. Because right now, Nissa, you about to get married, and I know you sucked some peen before. And so can we say that about your fiance? Can we say, hey, your fiance about to kiss the same mouth that other nigga peen was in? Now
how you know he ain't sucking no peen?
Oh,
and that's a mouth you and the mouth you kiss it. And that's a mouth you kiss.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to go down this road, let's go down it.
Yeah, you got
everybody got a pass.
You kissing that man in the mouth? Because you know, it's even worse for a woman though, because you know, scientifically, a woman's DNA changes when a man skeets up in her, and also the DNA stays in there. So not only is it worse, if he down there eating you and you ejaculating in his mouth, then part of that man going right down his throat. Damn.
Look, like I said, at the end of the day, Cassie is not. She's not a victim. She's not a victim. I think it's been proved. I think that voice that we heard, that audio that we heard about her threatening to unalive guys is a prime example that she was as much involved in this. I'm telling you, she was Bonnie in this, bruh. She was Bonnie in this.
Yep.
Diddy was Clyde. She was Bonnie, bruh. She was right there riding with him until she realized the wheels was falling off, until he decided he wanted to get a new Bonnie. And when he decided he wanted a new Bonnie, that's when she's like, okay. And she turned to the other. Now, this is the other version. I talk about the spectrum of women all the time. They can be on one end and they can go. So this, she went down to the other, said, okay, well, you want to replace me? Well, then I'm going to tell them that you did all this stuff to me. And I'm going to make myself look like a victim. But the only problem is that the world was looking at this like, nah, we don't agree with it. We're like, no, we think you were a part of this. You were a part of this. You wanted to be a part of this. And it looks that way. And so, again, I just said, this case is great. This case is great. This is a learning tool. This case, the DDG case with Holly Bailey is another one. These are learnings, because Holly Bailey had people fooled too. She was up there with her little dreads and playing a little acoustic guitar and being all sweet. That woman is a monster.
And when he released those, text messages, I loved it. Because she's talking about she gonna off herself, she gonna do something to the baby. I was like, this crazy bitch. Little Mermaid is crazy than a motherfucker.
Ariel is crazy.
Crazy than a bitch.
That's a Disney princess. And so my point has always been the same thing to men, especially the younger guys. Stop thinking that because she's beautiful, she's not capable. She is. They all are. Whether she chooses to do it is a whole different story. But stop thinking because you see this woman, she's so beautiful that she's not capable of destroying not only your life, but the lives of everybody around them. They are capable of doing it. And if they want to, they can.
Anissa says, what's up, English man? Anissa says, and every woman who is abused and hit by a man should take due process, press charges, and make a case against him so we can stop this DV. My thing is this, Anissa, I want to say this to you, sweetheart. You also have to look at the percentage of men who get their ass whooped every day. Men who come in the house who refuse to hit a woman and get hit in the head with Bath and Body Works candles. You know what I'm saying? Getting grease thrown on their backs, getting hit in the back with skillets, in the head with pans, spoons thrown across the room, forks thrown across the room. They're pouring food, hot food on top of these men's heads. I mean, you know what? I just watched a TikTok video that went viral of two boys trying to do a tasting, and their mom was in the back seat, and they stopped at Wendy's to do the new ice cream they have at Wendy's or something. And she said, and she just snapped on the video and started pouring the ice cream on their head and talking about, bitch, do the fucking video. You want to do a fucking video, have me waiting in the fucking car? And she's pouring the food on them and splashing it on them in the car. Just embarrassing. This is their mom. This is their mom doing this to them at an early. These boys are teenagers. They do videos, do tasting videos, like they go to different restaurants and try different shit. And their mom was in the back seat saying, I'm not gonna be waiting in this back seat all day. Hurry up and finish your fucking video. And he's like, Mama, we finna do a taste, just chill out. And the camera was still rolling. And she said, fuck this bullshit y'all trying to do. And she grabbed their ice cream and slammed it in their face, poured it on top of their heads. That's DV right there.
Hey, black man, let me Angry Stone Man Cook. This is something that we don't want to talk about. Is that a large majority of adult men, the first time they were ever abused was by their mama. Like, we don't ever want to have that conversation. There's a lot of adult men running around America right now. The first time they ever truly suffered any type of physical abuse, it came from the woman that birthed them.
Angry Snowman, what's going on, man? What are your thoughts about what we've been talking about so far? I know you've been watching for a little bit.
Oh man. Well, first off, this whole Cassie thing, you know, I think she needs to be looked at as complicit, just like Ghislaine Maxwell was with Epstein. If you want my opinion, she actually helped lure people to wherever it was they were going and get them there and get them involved in things that they didn't even know 100% that they maybe even be getting involved in. You know, so regardless of how much she wants to come off as a victim, she just as equally complicit. She knew what was going on. She knew what the deal was. She knew what the party was. She knew what the plan was. She knew what was going on, and she took part in all of that. So it really, to me, it floors me that neither one of them caught any charges on anything as far as that goes, to be honest with you. I mean, because to me, it's a lot like, it's too reminiscent of the Epstein thing that was going on for me, you know, and that's what I kept telling everybody when this all first started, that it reminded me of the Epstein thing when Diddy got popped. You know, it almost makes me wonder if maybe the reason why they dropped the RICO charges and everything that they had on him and all these other charges is because he was going to start dropping names, you know, and what kind of high profile people were actually really involved in this that they didn't want getting out. And that's why they went ahead and just started dropping charges and let him walk with this, what they call it, the public shaming that they've done of him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like a shaming ritual too at the same time. It's really weird what's going on. On the other hand, you know, with this whole discussion that we're having about, you know, men supposedly not being able to put their hands on women, I'm here to tell you, I come from a mom who was battered by her husband. Watched it with my own eyes, and my own mama told me, don't ever let a woman put her hands on you. My own mama. And I'm going to tell my son the same thing. Don't let a woman put her hands on you, because see, that's the problem we have in today's society is we've allowed women to get away with doing whatever the hell they want. They can walk around, say what they want, do what they want, put their hands on whoever they want with no recourse at all whatsoever, and think that they're the actual ones that are causing the problem, but then they want to sit and portray like they're the victims of something when they're the ones that escalated things to the point to where a man had to put force on them. And that crap's got to go. If you're man enough to walk up to a man and punch a man like a man, then you're man enough to get punched back in the mouth like a man. It's that simple. If you don't like it, then don't put your hands on somebody. Isn't that what you told us when it came to the Carmela Anthony thing? Don't put your hands on people. It's that simple. You know, you can't sit and go around and exert your force and then expect equal and opposite force not to be exerted right back on you, and then try and claim victim for it. It don't work like that. That isn't how society works.
Yeah, I've never been in a situation, even when I was on duty, black man. If I knew I was getting ready to go hands on with this dude, I expected a fight. You know what I mean? Like I never once ever went and dealt with a grown man thinking he's just going to do what I tell him to do.
No.
I fully expected this dude's finna fight me. Like, it's just a matter of time, and I had to be ready for that. But there's a thought process that goes through a lot of these women here. Like, I can do what I want, and and I don't know about you, Angry Snowman, but when we grew up, the words we would hear is "he better not, he better not." You know what I mean? You better not. And it's like, even I watched a video earlier, and it angered me. So this was a Hispanic family. The young girl was hitting the boy. She kept hitting him. She kept hitting him. And the boy was being patient with her, but he was kind of pushing her off, like, you know, in other words, stop hitting me. And he kept hitting her and kept hitting her. And the parents are recording this, and they're not telling the little girl to stop hitting him. So finally he gets to a point, and he hits her back. He hits her back, and they immediately jump on him. They just start going at him. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I was raised that way. This is the way I was raised. You can't hit her, but she can hit you. And this has gotten to a point now where we have grown adult people who believe this, who literally believe that it's the same way today. And like I said, shout out to the younger generation. They're not tolerating this. When I used to show up to them scenes, man, black man, you show them scenes, them dudes be standing out front, them Gen Zs be standing out front, and they're like, look, man, I was trying to be patient with her. She kept putting her hands on me, so I had to do what I had to do. If you're going to lock me up, you're just about to lock me up. And I'm just sitting there like, well, hang on, let's get the full story first before we make a determination of what we're going to do here. But a lot of them young guys wasn't taking it. Whereas if I was going to a home with a guy who was a Gen Xer or a baby boomer, you know, I walk in and he got marks and stuff all over him. And so I said, well, what did you do anything? No, I didn't do anything. You just stood there and took an ass whooping? You didn't do anything at all? Like, that's crazy to me. And I have to remind them, you have the right. You always have the right. There isn't a state in this country that doesn't allow self-defense. You have the right to defend yourself.
The problem with that, though, Trey, is as men, we know that if the cops get called 9 times out of 10, regardless of who shows the body scars or the battle wounds, the man's going to end up going to jail for domestic violence, regardless of whether or not the woman started it or not. That's just the way society seems to work these days. Because women can sit and they can start, you know, showing them crocodile tears. You know, they can go from being a hateful bitch and being all up in your grill, pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. And every one of us men have witnessed that either happen to ourselves or happen to another man that's close to us. We've witnessed that with our own eyes. A woman get up in a man's face and push him and push him and push him, back him into a corner. And what happens when you back a fucking pissed off dog into a corner? Do they not lash out? They're not going to stay cornered. But they want to push and push and push, and then they want, like I said, then once the law is called, then once they got to deal with the wrath of the man that they pushed, they want to sit and call the law dogs on them, and then play victim on this shit and start dropping those fake crocodile tears, as I call them, because they are fake. They can turn them waterworks on and off just as quick as we can turn off our anger. You know, and that shit's got to stop, man. I mean, this whole idea that women are these frail individuals that can't defend themselves, bullshit. We got women working out in gyms 24/7, just like we got men working out in gyms 24/7. We got women going out here and learning self-defense, just like we got men out here learning self-defense. You don't know what kind of training a woman has had, and a trained woman against someone that doesn't know anything is a dangerous woman.
Trey, I know you got a response to that.
I mean, in general, what he's saying is correct, but where I worked, that's not how we did it. But in general, yeah, in most states that you go to, especially the more liberal states, yeah, the man's gonna go. But where I worked, no, we didn't do it that way. We took the aggressor, whoever started it. And that's why oftentimes I was arresting women. Most of the time for DV, I was arresting women, because once we did the investigation, we'd realize that she's the one that she smushed him in the face, or she slapped him, or she threw something at him, or she did something, and so that is what precipitated the DV event, and so we would take her. That's what we did. That's why I said I'm in a rare seat because we did it differently in DC, and oftentimes I remember I told you, I think that we did the numbers. I think 86% of my DV lockups were women. Like majority of them was women, because, and this is why I keep telling guys, when you actually get down to the bare bones of it, of these DV situations, oftentimes you'll come to it that the woman is the one who initiated this entire thing.
Hey,
if you actually get down to the bare bones of it.
Can we address this crap too, with women wanting to call men gay and fags and shit when they say something that they don't like, but let you say something about their gay son and watch and see how unglued they come. You know what I'm saying? They want to sit and shame a man and try and tell a man who's going against what they're saying that they're gay or that they're a homosexual. But let you say something about their homosexual son that's actually sucking dick, and watch and see how quick they come unglued and how quick they lose their shit because you're being a homophobic.
Don't pay Anissa any mind. She just upset because I said her fiance sucked a little peen before they got married. She a little mad right now. That's right. She in her fifis right now because I said her because we were talking about everybody's got a past, and you don't know what they did, and I said her fiance might have sucked a little peen. She was kissing him in the mouth, so she in her feelings. Listen, I don't really pay attention to these. So this is expired content as far as I'm concerned. We're talking about a 50-year-old woman that's just trying to get it. It's trying to hang on for dear life. I'm not really concerned when she says.
Now I want to show you this. I know this is probably gonna fall out of that chair. I love y'all. Let me tell you what I love. I love when women start to think for themselves and really understand the problem in the country. And I love when women speak out about it. We need more women to speak out about it. We need more women to speak against Anissa. And so this is one. And I'm telling you, these young girls in their 20s and 30s, some of them are coming out speaking on this stuff. I'm just so proud of them because they really see it like we see it. Here it is.
See who the real narcissists are. I see who the real narcissists are. It's us women. I made a video saying I don't never believe the women first until I hear both sides. Everybody in the comments was like, oh yeah, it's giving pick me. It's giving men pick me. And then this lady, she posted a video because she was in the gym, and the guy was like, I just commend you for wearing a full skirt. Like I don't see it a lot lately. And somebody else was like, it's giving male validation. You women are the wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh my God. It's so clear. Women try to portray this image that men are just horrible people when in reality, it's us.
I find no flaws in what she said.
Trey, what's up?
Hey, look, I'm serious, man. There is a contingent of young women who are sort of revolting against everything they've been taught, especially when it comes to this sort of idea that men are bad, right? I just watched a video of there was a girl on a train or something like that, and she was getting harassed by another man pretty badly, and all these men sort of ran to kind of help her. You know what I mean? Like this idea that men are bad. No, I don't believe that to be. I think the large majority, the huge majority of men are good men. Whether they're religious or not, whether they're spiritual or not, they're good men. They have a moral code, a value code that they sort of live by, and that's perfectly fine. What we do as a society is we oftentimes like to focus in on the minority, the 1% of guys. So even take the LGBTQ community. When you really do the math, it's like 1%. It's not a whole lot.
It's not even 1% of the population.
Yeah, exactly. Like we like to focus on these things. So these women, you will deal with the worst men. You literally find the worst man you could possibly find. And then suddenly he's supposed to be a representation of all of us. That's BS. That's crazy. Majority of men are not like that. Even when I was in law enforcement, the majority of the men that I came across did not have a problem with the police. They just stayed out the way. They stayed out of my way. I stayed out of their way. Everybody was fine.
If the majority of men were really that horrible and that evil, then men wouldn't automatically assume that the man's the one that's at fault every time there's a male-female incident. Men automatically take the women's side. That's inherent within us. We automatically see them as the weaker individual because we know what we're capable of. So we find it hard to believe that a woman's going to overpower a man when we're sitting there as a man seeing what we're seeing. So you can't tell me that men are inherently evil and violent when, I mean, Jesus Christ, all you got to do is look at society around you. The laws are set up to protect women from men. Think about that for a second. That's men setting up laws because they know how some men are to protect you from those men. And who are the ones that come out and save you when you have to deal with those men? Other fucking men.
But you see all these stories, black man. You see, kids trapped in a car, and it's always a man running over there to go, to fix the problem or save the kids, or save the woman, or whatever the case may be. And it's like if we allow them to continue to keep painting this picture of men, you would believe that 90% of us were horrible human beings and that we're all scandalous, sexual, demonic degenerates who all we want to do is have sex and run around. Like, that's not the case. Most men want to have a peaceful life. They want to get up and want to go do their job, make money, take care of their family, you know what I mean? And just live a sort of peaceful, kind of quiet life. That's the majority of them that want to live that way, right? And then you have this other group of men who just want to, like old boy said in the Batman movie, they want to burn. They want to see the world burn. It's a very small group of men that want to see the world burn. And you have guys like me who are in positions to be able to try to stop those guys that want to see the world burn. It's as simple as that. Majority of men, and I'm talking about on this planet, not just in America, on this planet, are decent men. They're good men, and I hate that. I hate that this is idea, like if I'm walking down the street and a girl's walking, like I start to see her like sort of, she start to tense up and all this. I'm like, what? I'm the one that should be afraid. More violent crime happens to men than it does to women. I'm the one that should be terrified to walk down the street. Anyway.
Well, I really thank you guys because Anissa is on one. A lot of women in the country are on one. After the case was over and Diddy, the news reporters came in and they're supposed to be unbiased, right? This is what news reporters are supposed to be. They're supposed to be unbiased, correct? All the women, I can't believe it. This has set women back 25 fucking years. I cannot believe it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why he's not going to jail for the rest of his fucking life. I don't get it. What is happening? I just saw the most repulsive thing I've ever seen in my life. They let a man who has beat women, he wasn't there for being beating women. They let a man who has disrespected women, he wasn't there being tried for disrespecting women. You motherfuckers want to put this man in jail for the rest of his life for some shit he didn't do. The man did not own an enterprise. R. Kelly is illiterate. R. Kelly could talk music while other people would write it on paper, and he was illiterate, and they got him in jail right now for RICO charges. Can you see an illiterate man who can't fucking read running a sex trafficking ring, an entire enterprise of trafficking bitches?
Well, Diddy had RICO charges, didn't he?
Yeah.
And in order for there to be RICO charges, doesn't there has to be more than one person involved?
That's the point I made.
Isn't the point of a RICO is there's multiple defendants that are being charged with the same crime, and that's why they brought the whole RICO into being to begin with? How is there a RICO with only one defendant? I mean, in RICO, racketeering, extortion, and all that other stuff involved? I've never known of one person to catch a RICO act and there not be anybody else involved in the whole thing. And to that, have you ever noticed that when it comes to anything that we see where someone gets up and tries to say that any group of people is being set back 25, 50 years, have you ever noticed that it's always women standing at the highest rooftop screaming the loudest, always trying to convince everybody that our society is being set back 50, 20, 100 years? Always women out here trying to provoke men to do their bidding.
And another thing, women always say we're the most educated, we're the smartest, we make the most money.
They're the most in debt.
Right? We make more than men. But Anissa sent me an article. That's what I'm looking up right now. Anissa sent me an article the other day that says, and I sent her back. I said, well, just don't get married then. I mean, what the fuck? I'm trying to find it. Let's see, where is it? Okay, she says, this is what she sent me. 56% of women, this is the whole article. 56% of women say they've been the breadwinner in their marriage and they're tired of it. How can you be tired of it when in your mind, you're the highest paid? So if you're the highest paid, you're going to be making more than your husband. So then that means more responsibility would come from your money. But if you have the mindset of one pot and you guys are working together for one ultimate goal together, then that wouldn't even bother you because you're doing it. Love is something that you don't get tired of, but you feel like he's a burden. You shouldn't have got married.
Yeah, I was going to say I could tell you why they feel tired of it because for some reason women seem to think a lot of women in today's society seem to think that if they're the one getting the bag over their husband, then now they're the ones that run shit. You know, so they want to carry both burdens, the burden of going out and getting a bag and the burden of running shit. When that's not how an actual successful home runs. A successful home runs by generally one person going and getting the bag, and then the other person in that family actually managing their money and making sure it's being spent correctly. That's how you not have that much stress on your back. That's how you equal out the burden, so to speak. You know, this whole idea, and let's just say I'm just going to throw it out there. This whole idea that just because a woman is the breadwinner, that a man shouldn't be leading his house is absolutely absurd. Making money, anybody can go out and do that. Anybody can go out and get lucky and catch a break and end up making a bag and getting a career where they're making more money than the other person. Anybody can find that. It takes a real solid individual who stands on their principles and who knows how to follow, basically knows how to follow certain principles of managing money in order to actually, keep a house running, because all it takes is one mistake and you can screw your whole family over real fast with your money. That's what I think a lot of the problem is personally. These women, they want to have all the power, all the control, all the say, all the this, all the that, that they don't want to let go of any of that, because letting go of any of that means that they're allowing the other person that they're supposed to be sharing life with to quote unquote control them when they want to be in control of everything.
6% of what? Show me a time where women have made more money than men. So how can you be the breadwinner? 56% of women said they were the breadwinner, but you've earned less, according to the statistics. I'm confused, especially not in the black demographic. You never out earn it. Now there are little pockets, yes. There are small little pockets in the United States where the women are earning it, like where I'm at.
Trey, you know how women are making more than men, right? Because
listen.
Listen, think about this. This is a part of the economics that everybody seems to leave out. Most of these women, they get with men that have baby mamas somewhere. These men are paying child support to someone, and now half of their income, they could be making damn fine money, damn good money, $20, $30, $40 an hour in their trade. But because they got child support, because the woman they was with decided they wanted to ruin everything that they had, now they're shelling out half of their income, not just in child support, but in alimony and insurance costs and all these other payments. So now a woman that's making $40,000, $50,000 a year is the breadwinner to someone who on paper is making $80,000 a year, but is only bringing home $35,000 a year because everyone else is getting a cut of their money before they even see it. That's how they end up becoming breadwinners. And that's part of the math that everybody wants to leave out.
And that's why I always have to say it like this.
Here, bitch. I was born at night, but not last night. Can I get an AMAN?
Yeah, you gotta tell them. Again, I see Anissa says, like, exactly, we don't know what you do up there, Trey. We really don't.
You never will.
She said, I think it's hilarious when Trey likes this up. Oh, wow. Wow.
See, again, man, back to the gay shit, man. But let's just say something about her gay son and she's going to lose her noodle.
I'll talk about her gay fiance. Listen, it's no big deal. I don't pay attention. She's 50, bro. Come on. Life has been over for 20 years. And this
is why there's no more big mamas in the community anymore, because big mama's too worried about trying to keep up with the 20-year-old something.
Angry Snowman, can you read this for me? Read that for me, Angry Man.
Most women are breadwinners because they are single women with no man if they aren't on government assistance and unemployed. That makes not a lick of sense at all. Most women are breadwinners because they are single women with no man. If they aren't on government assistance and unemployed. You tell
Can't
me,
be the breadwinner.
You tell me, how are you? You tell me one single person that you know that's a single mom that isn't on some form of government assistance. Even your degrees that you supposedly got were gotten on government assisted programs. You didn't even acquire those on your own. You didn't even pay your own loans for those. That's why women are the most indebted people to the government right now, because they go out and get these arbitrary, unnecessary freaking degrees that aren't going to do nothing but collect dust on the wall, something for them to show off to all their friends, say, look at what I got that you ain't got. And it does absolutely nothing. How is it that you go out and spend $30, $40, $50, $60,000 on a degree for a piece of paper hanging on your wall, but you're still you're nothing more than a secretary in somebody's office somewhere, and you ain't even actually using the degree that you got? How does that work? Let a man go out and spend 4, 5, 6, 10 years of his life chasing a degree, and then him not actually use the degree that he's been going to school for, and watch and see how fast society shuts him down. Sorry, buddy. Maybe you should have actually got a degree in something that was worthwhile instead of going out and get that underwater basket weaving degree that you got.
I'm trying to figure out how you're the breadwinner and there's nobody in the house to compete with.
Right. There's that too. Of course, you're going to be a breadwinner.
You're saying you're the breadwinner, but you compete against the kids? Like, of course, the kids ain't got no money. They kids.
Dude, of course these women are competing with the kids. Come on. We know they are. We see it all the time, man. We see it in the way they dress, they present themselves, their attitudes, their accolades, everything that they do in life. They're competing with younger individuals instead of enjoying getting old and becoming a senior citizen like they should be doing.
We got one in the chat right now. We got one in the chat right now. Wish she was in her 20s again. Literally threw her life away in her 20s, didn't do nothing about it. And now she's in her 50s and she want to talk shit. It's like it's over for you. You're cooked. It's over for you.
The fact that you're in your 50s and you're just now getting married says a lot.
Well, I think she was married before. She got divorced. So there's that. There's that. But anyway, look, at the end of the day.
Again, it still doesn't change what I said. The fact that you're in your 50s and you're just now getting married says a lot.
How are you getting lost? How is that even possible?
Get out of here. But look, at the end of the day, man, like I've said before, we got to get past this idea that just because she's attractive means automatically that she's a victim. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why we have that. And I think for a lot of men and even now the women, is this idea that attractive women are wholesome and safe, and that's not the case. And I think this Diddy case, blew the doors off of it, blew the hinges off of that, because as far as I'm concerned, I've said it before, she was the body to his Clyde. She was a part of this from the very beginning. There's no doubt in my mind about that. She is not a victim. She is a volunteer. She was a part of this, and she deserves to be. I don't know how she didn't get indicted too is beyond.
Dude, that's what kills me. How she didn't get indicted is beyond me. She should have been a party to this, just like Ghislaine Maxwell was with Epstein.
They should have been sitting next to each other in the courtroom as defendants, both of them. And the other part of this is too, and one of the things I said, and Black Man can tell you this, I said that there's a great chance of him walking out the front door because this was a criminal court. And criminal court, you need a beyond a reasonable doubt. They were going to have to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. I think had this been in a civil court where it would have just been a preponderance of evidence, things might have gone a little bit different in this specific case. But because this was a criminal court and there was a need for reasonable doubt, when you got Cassie up there and she started talking, I'm like, well, there's your doubt right there. Like the more and more she talked, I'm like, she's the one casting doubt. Literally, right now, she's casting doubt over the entire thing.
That's wild, man. Look, dude, I'm telling you, I was under the impression that this was going to end up turning into basically. You notice that Hollywood has been surprisingly silent, not just about this, but just in general now since the whole Diddy thing started a year ago. They went. It's almost like they all went underground. They have no opinions about anything. They're keeping to themselves, and it, like I said, makes me wonder how deep did this really go? How many of these Hollywood elites were actually involved? How many of our government was actually involved in this shit? I mean, these freak offs isn't something that was just a fairy tale. This has been going on for decades now. We've known about this since, Diddy was just started Bad Boy and started getting big. These freak off parties have been a part of that. I mean, so what are we talking about here? Why? I think that it's deeper. I really do think that it goes a lot deeper as to why they let him off and only hit him with these 2 small misdemeanor charges.
Well, because this is Hollywood in a nutshell. Like, being a freak is not illegal. Like, being mean,
apparently though, you can't be a wealthy man though and fly another man out to your island and let him fuck your wife though. That's against the law. What is it to be wealthy if you can't do that? What's the point in being a millionaire if you can't fly another man out and watch him, slaw your old lady out?
What's the point of having a private jet? you got access to a private jet. You can't fly a guy out. That's crazy. But look, I mean, there were stories about Hugh Hefner back in the 70s and what they was doing. Like, this is nothing new. I call it Hollywood for a reason. It's called Hollywood for a reason because they do some of the wildest shit. And when you got money and tons of access to cocaine, anything can happen. Okay, anything can happen. This ain't nothing new. He just got caught up in it.
Yeah, the rules don't apply to them. They live by a different code, a different set of rules. I mean, that's why part of me also, like I said, I think some of this was part of a humiliation ritual that he had to go through. Maybe he's reaching another level, another tier of the weirdness out there, and this is a humiliation ritual that he had to go through in order to be able to successfully transverse over that next step.
Got promoted. In the
right
what do they call it? The Illuminati. He got promoted in the Illuminati.
Yeah, he's finally part of the Illuminati now.
Yeah. So he had to go through this. I don't know, but I just knew from listening to it that when I was listening to the case, I'm like, these guys, you haven't proven anything. like you guys gonna prove any of this, or are you just gonna keep talking about how nasty and freaky he is? Like, what's okay, that's not illegal. It's not illegal to own a bunch of baby. That's not illegal.
I mean, that was a ridiculous amount of baby oil he had though.
Crazy numbers. Crazy amount of baby oil. And Astroglide, that's more than any one man would ever need in a lifetime. It's unnecessary. You know what's cracked me up though about this entire situation? When the verdict came in, he was innocent on the more serious charges. These fools were outside the courthouse spraying baby oil on each other. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. They just wanted to be moisturized, man. That's all it was. They just wanted to make sure they were properly moisturized. They were out in the hot sun all day long.
These fools were outside the courthouse spraying baby oil on each other. I said, these people are crazy, man. But again, listen to me.
Hey man, I could see Diddy running around with super soakers full of baby oil, just spraying people down at these freak offs, dude.
You think he had a party before? Wait till you see the party when he gets home in October.
Oh Lord, son.
And if it were me, I'd have baby oil everywhere. If it was me and I had this party, I'd have baby oil everywhere.
Yeah, my man would hate me.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine having to clean that place after every party?
God.
One thing I do hope that he does though, because I'm a petty dude at times, I hope he goes after every motherfucker that turned their back. I do. I hope he goes after every single one of them. I really do.
I do too. I mean, if the truth of the matter is, if he's abiding by the law, he has the right to be a sick, freaky motherfucker if that's what he wants to be if he's not breaking the law doing such. And it's crazy, man. This shit's wild. It really is, man. Shout out to Diddy, man, for being able to get off, man, and doing the right thing and keeping your mouth shut, realizing that everything you say and do will be used against you in a court of law. Shout out to you for being smart and invoking your Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate.
Which most people don't do. They want to talk too much.
I think that's what got him off, man, is him not going up and saying anything. He let everyone else speak for him, and that was sunk the case.
Well, not only that, I mean, you had to know that they were confident that he was going to be guilty when they didn't even call a witness. Like when they didn't call a witness, I was like, dude, they must be feeling overly confident. They didn't need to refute anything that was said.
They thought Cassie was going to be their golden cow, man. They thought for sure that was the only witness that they were going to need.
That's
That
it,
once
yep.
she spoke, that she was going to jerk on the heartstrings of all the jurors, and they'd be able to look at that video and tie that one video to everything that had been going on for 20 years and find Diddy guilty. You know, so one time he decided to lash out because somebody wasn't doing shit the way it was supposed to be done. That's life, man. That's the way life works. So things don't always happen the way you want, but that doesn't mean that he's guilty of all these atrocities because one video says that he put his hands on her.
Oh, and this is it. Put the link. Whoa, wait, hold on. Here it comes. Here it
I
comes.
thought it was pinned at the top.
Here it comes, and this is at the top, but I'll put it in there. There you go. And while we're waiting on Anissa to come up, Dr. Umar had this to say about the Diddy trial. Y'all was just alluding to this, and I knew I had heard this. So I had to go find it. Here it is.
Used to expose anybody? The fact that he sat there quiet like a G and didn't snitch on nobody else, unlike Jeffrey Epstein? I think Puff might walk or get a slap on the arm because he didn't expose nobody, Art. Puff didn't expose nobody, and he said, I'm not taking a stand. So he letting the music elites, he's letting the Illuminati know.
Angry? What's your thoughts?
All he did was say what I had already said.
Yep.
You know, man, black man, I'm telling you, I think that Diddy knows more about too many high profile elites in Hollywood and too many high profile elites in our own government and government institutions that we're actually part of and involved in these freak offs, that the reason why they didn't push it any further is because if they forced that man to talk, it was going to bring down the house of cards. The same way that the reason why they got rid of Epstein, because if they forced that man to talk, it was going to bring down a house of cards. I mean, isn't it funny that even with Epstein, we're almost 10 years after he supposedly committed suicide, and Ghislaine Maxwell's been put in prison, but we don't have a client list. There's no list of people. Where's the people that were involved in all these atrocities that 2 people were getting charged for? Why aren't all these other clients that were involved in this actually being prosecuted? Why aren't they being brought to grand jury hearings? Why aren't they being, charged with anything? Why is it all this silence? Why do we keep hearing, even from Trump, that we're going to release the Epstein files, but the Epstein files never get released? I think the same thing applies with Diddy. It was just on a smaller scale, and I really honestly believe that if it would have opened up in Hollywood and all that shit with him, it would have busted open the Epstein thing. I think they're trying to keep too much secret. And that I think that's because, look, I'm not saying that Diddy was a great person, but I do believe that he was involved in some shit that most of us would find absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah. And think about this too. A lot of people leaving this out, bro. Think about this. And Anissa's here, but think about this before we get Anissa in here. They said Diddy had freak-off parties with a bunch of celebrities, and they were all at the house, and there were secret cameras, and there were cameras that people could see, and hidden cameras that people couldn't see. But you notice something in court? They only talked about the private parties that he had with Cassie. Yep. They never brought in the big parties he had at his house.
The big public parties after all these award shows and shit like that.
Oh, yes. Can you imagine if they would have just came out and the prosecution would have said, yeah, so what about the big parties at your house? How many other people would have gotten exposed that seemed like they're victims? Cassie got exposed like she was a victim. She's not. She's a co-conspirator. Secondly, all these other people, can you imagine Eddie Murphy at the house getting hit from the back on a couch? Can you imagine?
Man.
Can you imagine the women, the people that people love, the music artists, the actresses and actors who are getting what? Can you imagine seeing a video of Will Smith riding a 50 Cent dick at a party on video?
Well, just look at what it did to Diddy's reputation. So just imagine what it'd do to everyone else's.
So we have Anissa here. Anissa, how are you this morning? And you can speak on whatever you want to speak on this morning. The floor is yours.
Well, I have to come up here because you men are just infamous for misquoting me on so many things. Um, And I know you need it for the views and everything, but
No.
I just wanted to come up and just clarify some things.
Mhm.
First of all, and because you seem to skip over a lot of the things that I say, so I just wanted to be on the record of saying some things.
Okay.
I do not believe that a woman should ever put her hands on a man. I also do not believe a man should ever put his hands on a woman. That's just my belief. Angry Snowman, just like you saw domestic violence growing up in your home, I saw domestic violence as well, which is why I'm so strongly against it. And the only thing I was saying is I wish that women, when they are abused by their significant other or their husbands or their boyfriends, the first time that they will take charge of that situation and press charges and make a case against that person. You cannot tell me that 100% of the time, every time that Diddy beat on that girl, that she initiated it. You can't tell me that. Now, I'm sure probably she might have got sick of him throwing her around, and like she said in her text messages, I am not a rag doll. I am somebody's daughter. You treat me like Ike Turner treats Teen. Those were also in the text messages. So you can't tell me that 100% of the time she attacked Diddy all the time and Diddy was just responding. I absolutely don't believe that. I absolutely don't believe that 100% of the time with Kim Porter was attacking Diddy and Diddy just never initiated any of that. But regardless, because none of us up here know exactly what happened, I'm just against domestic violence. And I wish that women, outside of this Diddy case, I just wish that women that find themselves in that position where they are abused, that they will handle it properly, that they will call the police, make reports, take pictures, and press charges against their perpetrator. That's all that I'm saying.
So Anissa, do you believe not do you believe, do you know that there is a certain law that allows men to do that to women?
I don't care what the law is. What I'm saying is you don't have a right as a man to just wail off on a woman for just because you came home and you're in a bad mood or because you're drunk or because your dinner isn't ready. You don't have a right to do that. I don't believe that you have a right to do that. So
Well,
you're saying that there is a law in the United States of America where a man can come home and do that and get away with it. Is what you're
No,
saying?
there's a law called domestic discipline. Have you ever heard of it, Angry Snowman?
yeah.
That's if you look that up real quick, Anissa, you will see that if a man is at home with his wife and his wife does something that, with her permission, if she agrees and says, "Hey, if I ever get out of line, you can whoop my ass," that man has a right to whoop her ass, and he can't go to jail for it. You
Well,
can
A
I
lot
don't
of
Google it right
times,
now.
a lot of
I
times
don't
that's
I
practiced
don't
in
know I
a
don't know
lot of
anything about that law, and I don't know a woman that's in her right mind that would agree to something like that.
well, a lot
I
of
Anissa, let
don't
me
know
tell you
times that's
something.
anything.
practiced in highly religious families.
Man, let me tell
Well,
you.
let me just be clear. You better never try to put your hands on me and come up with no domestic discipline or whatever that is. You don't put your hand.
Hey, some women like that spanking though, man.
They do. Some women love it. And
And
that's what I'm
it's
trying to
something
get her
wrong,
to understand.
and it's something wrong with those women. I'm talking about domestic violence cases, and I'm just saying I disagree with it. Everybody should keep their hands to themselves. Everybody, men should not be punching on women, and women should not be punching on men. Keep your and if you can't do that, then don't be together. There is nothing so great about that relationship that deserves you accepting an ass whooping. It's just ridiculous.
So
And the fact
so
that you all won't categorically get up here and say it is what the problem. Oh, some women like it. Just you can't just sit up
No,
and say that.
I no, and Vanessa, I agree with you that to a certain extent that there's no reason, nobody should put their hands on anybody. I mean, like I said earlier, if you don't want hands put on you, keep your hands to yourself. It's really that simple. The problem that I see arising though a lot of times is a lot of women want to sit and obfuscate the part that the woman plays in a lot of this and sit and act like she's solely a victim when in a lot of cases the woman is the instigator or the agitator that actually makes things worse. They literally go out of a lot of these women literally go out of their way, and I'm not saying 100% of them, I'm saying a lot of them go out of their way especially if it's an ex-spouse or a baby daddy, to back them up into a corner and emasculate them in front of everybody around, and then expect them not to do anything in return.
So in that instance, are you not, being that you are the man and you are the stronger vessel, you can't walk away and remove yourself from a
Why
situation?
should I have to walk away if she doesn't?
No, and I'm not saying if someone puts their hands on you, but if you feel like someone is disrespecting you or, like you said, emasculating you, you as a man, you cannot remove yourself from that situation.
Again, I'm going to ask, why should I have to remove myself from a situation that I didn't start?
Okay, so if I say, hypothetically, if I call you an asshole and you decide you want to slap the shit out of me and I call the police on you, are they going to be like, well, you called him an asshole, so therefore you had the right to
I
hit you?
don't know. I don't know of any real men that are going to sit and slap somebody just for calling them an asshole.
Right, right. But so I'm saying is, if you're in a situation like
It
that,
seems to me like
you
you're
do
skipping
have the
steps.
ability to remove yourself before anything escalates. You do have that ability, right?
But hold on, Anissa, I'm let
You
you cook.
do. You
But Anissa,
absolutely
let you cook. Hold on. But Anissa, right now there are laws. I'm gonna have a show about this because we need to bring this out. The times are changing, laws are changing. In the state of Texas, now the person who provoked goes to jail now. So it doesn't matter if you put your hands on the person or not. If a man come up to my face and say, you bitch ass nigga, and I hit him in his mouth, the person who provoked it is getting arrested.
Well,
So
maybe
now
that's in Texas, but I don't think that that's in Florida.
it'll spread. But my thing is
But
this:
here's the thing.
now if a woman
We keep
comes up to
saying
me,
how we're so adult and we're so this and we're so that, but we can't just remove ourselves from instead of getting involved in situations that could potentially escalate
okay,
and leave you in bad situations, mess up your livelihood and all of those things. We can't be mature enough that we just walk away.
okay, let me ask you a question. Two things. If right now, if you with your man out in public, let me ask you a question, and y'all walking around, y'all having a great time, and a woman, he steps up, and the woman says, "Whoa, I was in line first, you bitch." What do you want your man to say to her?
I would want him to say, I would want him, first of all, to be a man, take control of the situation,
And
and
do
be
what?
like, excuse me, ma'am, but whatever the situation, I would expect him to diffuse it. I
And
would
she
not
says,
expect
So
him to
I got to
haul
be.
off and hit a woman.
and she says,
I
and
would
she
not
does this.
expect him to haul off and punch her in her
Hold on,
face. I would
no.
not expect that
I'm
from
getting
what
there.
you
I'm getting
just
there because
said.
I have a video with this on it. This is why I'm using the scenario with you and your man. I got a video, and then the girl says, in his face, "You don't tell me nothing, bitch." He spits in your man's face. What you want me to do? Wipe it off and walk?
Well, why is it that we can meet
I
force
got
with
the
force?
video. I got the video of a woman spitting in a man's face, and he knocked her fucking head off her body.
I saw that white girl, ain't it?
Yep.
She bounces off she gets knocked out, dude. Bounces off a bar stool and everything, dude.
Yeah. If a girl spits in your man's face,
That's
what do
assault.
you want your man to do? That is assault.
You can be arrested for that. You could be taken to jail for assault on a police officer if you spit on him.
So I'm asking Anissa, what do your man supposed to do in that situation?
I would expect him to respond however he thought that it was appropriate. But that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I was talking about in the beginning of the chat when you all were going all off on a tangent and putting words into my mouth. That's not what I was saying.
Anissa,
So I just
but
want
hold
to
on. I said two
clarify
things.
that.
I said two things, Anissa. It was just a case in Mississippi where a man and a woman got into an argument in front of their children. The audio, they're recording this. The audio says that one of the oldest children were recording it, and they didn't know what was going to happen on the recording. God have mercy. I know they didn't know. Their mom and the daddy arguing. The daddy says, "I'm going to be late for work. I don't have time for this shit today." He said, "I'm not arguing with you today." He hits him. Pop. You can hear it. He said, "Don't put your fucking hands on me again." He said, "I'm going to go ahead and go to work before you piss me off." He gets his jacket, puts his jacket on, and walk out the door. He walks away, Anissa, and on his way out the door, she shoots him in the fucking head. Shoots him, his own wife. You don't walk. Her last words to him was, "You don't walk away from me when I'm talking, bitch." Bah! And she shoots him, and he falls down the steps. He shoots him in the back of the head in front of his children. You hear the children on the audio screaming to the top of their lungs because
And who
they
got
just
the
watched
charges
their
in
mama
that?
kill their daddy.
And who was going to jail for that now?
She is, but he walked away and he lost his life.
Well, not only that, BMU, but how many
lost his life?
How many times have men been into an argument and they've tried to walk away from their wife and she'll sit and block the door to where you can't get out, or
come on, Angry.
Sit and try and roadblock you so to where you can't get down the hallway and this, that, and the third, and literally force you to get into an altercation that you're trying to walk away from. I mean, let's keep it real. Women really do, when they get in their feelings, they tend to forget about the reality of what's going on, and they escalate things to a point 9 times out of 10 it ends up not being in their favor. I mean, if I'm literally trying to walk away, what are you doing blocking the door and stopping me from going out the door when I'm trying to de-escalate by walking away? Well, let's talk about those situations and how often that happens.
And listen, that happens a lot.
And I think that what did I say from the beginning? Everybody should keep their hands to themselves. No woman should be instigating and doing all of that to a man. Conversely, there is no man that should be putting his hands on a woman. I don't care what the situation. I'm against it on both sides. And I think both people need to be held accountable. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, okay, well, she got in your face and you get to haul off and slap the shit out of her. I'm never going to say that. Be a man and learn how to walk away. If you don't have nothing to lose, then go ahead and respond. But some men have a lot to lose and they're not going to put themselves in that situation. And sometimes you just might have to take the high road and just learn to walk away. I'm going to do my best to why I got a professional license. I'm not going to risk losing my professional license because someone gets slick at the mouth and I feel like I want to get in an all free for all fist fight with somebody and I lose my livelihood. I'm not going to do that. For what? For somebody that don't matter, doesn't mean anything to me. You add no value to me. You add no value to my life. You're not providing for me. You aren't investing in my retirement account, but I'm going to risk losing my livelihood over you because you said something?
Now listen. Okay, so I think the women, okay, then on the flip side, I think women should teach other women that. I think there should be classes. I think there should be ways that you can volunteer to teach women how to do that. My thing is this, and this is what I tell my daughters about putting their hand on men, right? I talk to my son about putting their hand. I said, if you got to put your hands on your leader, right, just get you a white woman. Listen, I told my daughters.
They will let you beat them up. Yeah.
I told my daughters. I asked my daughters, I said, we go to used to take them to the zoo all the time when they were little. They're teenagers now, so they're not that much interested in the zoo anymore. But I used to take them to the zoo a lot. And I said, y'all remember when we used to go to the zoo when y'all were kids? Yes. I say, listen, if they open that door to that cage and let you in with the lions, would you go up to a lion and punch him in the face? My daughter said, no. I said, why? That thing will rip me apart. I said, that's how you should feel about putting your hands on a man. You should never put your hands on a man because a man can do the same thing to you the lion can. Keep your hands to yourself.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. You know, and I was raised that way, and I did not like the situations where I saw domestic violence in my family, so I never wanted to be a part of that. So I make sure that to the best of my ability, I conduct myself so I never put myself in that situation. And I'm also fortunate that I have never attracted men that exhibit that type of behavior.
You see that scar I was showing you, BMU?
Yep.
That's from a white woman trying to hit me in the back of the head with an iron skillet. Don't tell me again that white women will let you beat them.
White women don't act like that, Angry Snowman.
The fuck they don't. Don't tell me what white women act like when I've been around them for 46 years of my life.
Thank you for that commentary.
Now, I will, Anissa, seriously though, all jokes aside, we're living in a time right now. The women are more aggressive than men are. And I'm telling you right now, even the girls I work with, there's a 7-Eleven, we work downtown Dallas. There's a 7-Eleven on the corner down from my corporate building. And the women walk there often. And they come back with their stories. Girl, that I got into it with the man at the register. And I told him I'll beat his ass. And I told him, I said, wait. I said, listen, guys. I said, don't go down there talking sideways to a man because you don't know who that man is. You don't know if that man, those young dudes will beat your ass. And they were telling me, I don't give a fuck. I'll fight a man. I said, no, you won't, you stupid. I be want to tell him something, you stupid bitch. You're going to go down there and strike at a man knowing that man can drag you up and down the fucking street? What do you have to prove by getting in a man's face, calling him a bitch and a bitch ass nigga and all this stuff. What do you have to prove? You don't know who you fucking with. This man could have a bad morning. This man could have no respect for women, and you go in there and talking shit to him over a fucking coffee not being made, and he'll beat your ass, and then you're acting like you bad. You're not bad. Stop.
Well, I totally agree with that. We absolutely a woman can. I mean, maybe there are a few examples of women that are burly enough or strong enough that they can beat a man, but for the most part, we are not nearly as physically strong as a man.
Thank you.
I don't know why any woman would put herself in a position like knowing that just with one hit that that man could literally knock you out or literally kill you. So I think women as well as men, but women have to get to the point where if you feel yourself escalating to a point, you have to remove yourself. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not healthy for either party. It's not healthy for the relationship. It's not a good example for the children. And I just wish that I'm sorry, I'm moving around. I just wish we as society would do better about that. I'm just against all type of violence in that way.
And I think
So I wanted to come up here and clarify that. I'm not supporting anyone putting their hands on anybody.
Okay, I got that. Yeah. And also one more thing on this before we get out of here. How do you feel about women who are into BDSM?
That's a weird question.
I mean, just like these women were willing to do freak offs with Diddy. In my opinion, if you were not a woman and that was not your thing, the first time he introduced that to you or brought it up, you should have been like, that's just not my thing. I don't want to get into that or whatever. But once you open that door, so those women that are into that, somewhere along the way, they've opened the door to these alternative activities and some women like that. I mean, listen, there are people that see no reason, nothing wrong with all of the things that Diddy did. So I mean, I guess if you're into what you're into what you're into. I don't know.
And right. And did you see the women outside the courthouse celebrating when Diddy didn't get the RICO?
I did, and I saw people pouring the baby oil on each other or whatever. Just so ratchet.
They were just moisturizing, man.
So listen, you don't have a problem with the women. You don't have a problem with the women celebrating?
I thought it was disgusting. I think it's disgusting that you would be outside a federal courthouse acting in that manner. But hey, I can't tell those grown people what to do. But I thought it was absolutely disgusting.
Okay, so we're gonna do a show Tuesday, and we're gonna name it BDSM. We're gonna do a BDSM show, and we're gonna discuss legally is BDSM a crime? Is it considered DV? Because BDSM is most men. I'm telling you, before I got married, I used to talk to a girl who liked that shit, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable.
That are like that too, man.
She was like, choke me, slam my head into the wall.
I want you to pretend like you're raping me and shit.
What? Beat me. She said, come in and punch me and knock me to the bed and pull my panties off and fuck me. Oh, no. No, ma'am. I'm not doing it.
That sounds too much like domestic violence.
Right. And then she talking about, let's have a great, what she said, a great fantasy or whatever. I said, what that mean? She said, you come in and you just force yourself on me and take it.
Oh, no. Have that great fantasy
absolutely
too. It's weird.
No. And so that's what I'm talking about. And there's some women out here like BDSM. It's all a part of it. They create scenes like that scene with Diddy and Cassie. Say, for instance, Diddy come out later and said that's a BDSM where me and her scene together was she's acting like she's leaving me. I chase her down the hallway. I choke her. I punch her. I kick her ass. Then we go back to the room because to me it was that because the next day they have text messages. That's why you can't go to court trying to do shit because they're gonna dig your shit up too. They have text message from Cassie saying, yesterday was fun. I would love to have a freak off tonight. Are you okay with it? Can I order the same people? This the very next day after the damn hotel scene.
Yesterday was fun. That says a lot.
What? So go look at the text messages. That's what I'm gonna pull them up for BDS. I'm gonna pull it up for Tuesday show. Cassie said, yesterday was fun. Can we order some people to come over and have a freak off. Diddy say, I don't.
But there were also text messages where Cassie said, "I don't want to do this. I'm tired of this." And he would beat her ass and say, "Get in there and do what you need to do and do what I told you to do. You ain't gonna mess up my fucking night with this bullshit. Get in there and do what you need to do." There's
And this
also
is why the jury did not believe Cassie, because you can't be night and day. You gotta stand on business. Some days you can't say, "Can I order 2 niggas to fuck me?" And then the next day say, "I don't want to do this." You gotta make your mind up. Either you like it or you don't. That's why the jury didn't believe her ass.
And I wanted to address something Angry Snowman said earlier. Why is it that women have to start calling men gay or whatever? First of all, I was specifically talking about Diddy, because I just don't know why they don't want to come out and call Diddy what he is. If you like a man's cum rubbed all over you and you want to slip and slide and screw your girl after they've already been in your girl, I think that says something about
Men do it every day.
Nobody
Men do it every day.
So your wife come home and with another, I got this man's cum, let me rub it on your nipples. Nobody does that.
No, I'm saying women do it every day knowingly, or men and women do it every day. Men unknowingly are having sex with women who have sperm in them from their last person.
And the men want it, and the men want it rubbed on them. And the men want it rubbed on them. They want that man's jism rubbed on them. They want to leave it on the stomach so they can slip and slide on top. I was saying, and nobody wanted to say anything about Diddy. That's what I was specifically talking about.
Because him being a freak is not illegal. Him being a freak is, if he want to rub nut on his nipples, that ain't got shit to do with me.
But here is
I just thought we lived in 2025 where it was homophobic to sit and judge people because of their sexual preferences.
Right.
Like
See, and see, Angry Man, that's the point. It's okay for a man to be trans.
It's not homophobic. I don't have to agree with your lifestyle, Angry Snowman.
But listen, it's okay for a man to be trans and wear a dress. But it's not okay for a man to want cum on his nipples.
Well, that's because they're wanting to skip that. They're wanting to go from gay to straight to being trans now.
I wasn't finished.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I never made anything personal. I was specifically talking about Diddy. But as per usual on these programs, when you say something that's disagreeable to other people, then they have to make it personal. And then you're going to respond likewise. So I
personally thought you were actually making your comments towards Trey, not Diddy.
No. That's because you came in the middle. Okay. I was specifically talking about Diddy, and then BMU and Trey thought it was funny to try to make it personal. And then when I respond in kind, then it's like, "Oh, why you gotta," that wasn't the case, Angry Snowman. And this happens a lot on here. When you disagree with them, then they try to go personal and, "Oh, you're this and you're that." I was talking specifically about Diddy. I was not talking about BMU or Trey. They started that mess.
I didn't say nothing about you. All I said was that we have selective outrage. Right now, we have selective outrage. We have women right now who are online talking about fucking younger men and making younger men submit to them. 18, 19-year-old men in their 20s. We got
let a man do that.
We got Drea right now, who is 45 years old, got a 23-year-old son, and dating a man the same age as her son.
That would be grooming if it was a man doing it to a woman.
Oh, yes. But nobody's talking about it. Ain't nobody having no shows about Drea dating a 23-year-old boy and her son is 23. Ain't nobody talking about that right now. And she's 45. Ain't nobody talking about that right now.
I think they have talked about that and addressed it.
No, but if it was flipped, he grooming her.
I think there are plenty of people that have come out and said that about Drea.
Who? Give me five.
I have seen it, but do you think Jalen's complaining? He ain't complaining. He's loving it.
What's that matter? What does that matter if he's complaining or not?
But Angry Snowman, I wanted to clarify that for you because I did not start that conversation. These two gentlemen started that conversation.
If I said what Anissa just said,
you'd be a sexual deviant.
I'd be what? If I said, "Oh yeah, she is," she loving it.
He ain't complaining.
She like it. I'd be drugged
You'd
through
be
the
a
mud.
sexual deviant, dude.
Oh,
You'd be
yeah.
thrown through the
I
fucking
have
ringer.
I have seen plenty of people come out and speak against Drea. Now it has not been
You
everybody,
ain't
but
said
I have
nothing.
seen it.
You ain't said nothing.
Yeah, we've never discussed it.
We are right now.
We have
Yeah.
never
What you got to say?
BMU.
What you got to say?
I haven't been
We're
up here
discussing
for
it
a
right
while.
now, though.
And
We're
you
actually
have never,
discussing it right now. What's your
when
stance
I
on it?
finish speaking, Snowman, I'll
What's your
address
stance
you.
on
I'm
it? Do you
talking to
think it's
talking to
okay, or do you
BMU
think it's
right
not
now.
okay?
Hold on, we got 1
When
minute.
I'm
Hold on, we
finished
got 1 minute
talking
left
to
in the show. So go
BMU,
ahead,
then
Anissa.
I'll
We'll do a
respond
part
to
2 to
you,
this. Go ahead.
Snowman.
We got 1 minute left in the show. Go ahead.
We've never talked about Drea on. I haven't been up here on the podcast in several weeks, so I have not been up on the show when you specifically have talked about that. So that's why I have not made a comment. But second thing is, I don't agree with the Drea whatever his name is, Jalen or whatever. I think she has children his age or a son from a previous relationship. I don't agree with that either. But I can't go and press charges against Drea. He would have to say, oh, this woman is molesting me or whatever. I don't agree with that either. And I know that there are other people that don't agree with that.
Okay, so we're gonna stop right there. We're gonna
But
talk about this
that
more.
is my personal opinion about it.
Okay, we got. Listen.
So what is my opinion? I mean, you think Drea and Jalen are sitting up there like, oh well, we should take into accountability what she's saying.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna finish
tell you
this
my
because the show
opinion.
finna end. We're gonna finish this on Tuesday. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being here today. And we'll finish this on Tuesday. I'll make the show about that on Tuesday. Okay. All right, here we go. Peace.
It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those odds. Got up and I beat those odds. It's understood. It was always me.
Hey y'all. We'll see y'all. We got 20 seconds left. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Be easy.